Hey everyone, this is Keith Scott from out in Sydney, Australia. I'm one of the voices of Bullwinkle J. Moose. It's time to watch Relentless and Unstoppable. And so give it up for your main hosts, Douglas Kenny and Andy McPhee.
Hey everybody, this is Doug Kenny and welcome to Relentless and Unstoppable. We have another amazing guest coming on the channel today, so please hit like and subscribe. And after this episode, please stay tuned to the RNU channel for more amazing guests. Let's get this on!
Hey everybody, how you doing? Just a quick little share of why I started Relentless and Unstoppable. It was for one very simple reason, because of Doug Kenny. Nothing to do with me at all, zero. I was just coaching Doug and he took on the coaching and mentoring and he made all the changes. He took all the suggestions from his parents as well as my coaching, but it was all about Doug, his breakthrough and his weight loss, his willingness to accept that he is dealing with high functioning autism and other issues, but he's never quit, he's never given up. So we did one interview with him to share his story, and then we decided to start interviewing other people. And Doug has now taken over the whole channel, and he does all the interviews, he runs everything. He's just an amazing young man. So RNU was born from simply what an amazing young man Doug is, and his story needed to be shared.
Hey everybody, this is Doug Kenny from Relentless and Unstoppable. We have our guest, Phil Bloomfield, and his support worker, Meg, all the way out in Geelong, Australia. How you guys doing?
Yeah, good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good to hear. So what are you doing these days?
So me, I do music's my main thing I do. I play bass guitar, classical guitar, and I compose music, do a lot of performing. They're my main passions.
Orchestra.
I play in an orchestra and cover band. Yeah.
Nice to hear.
Yeah. Other things I do is I do music tutorials for other autistic people, just because I understand the language and how to communicate in a different way. Yeah.
That's very cool. What are you doing these days, Meg?
So I'm a support worker full time. I have a couple of clients. Phil's my main client, so I'm here like 3-4 times a week. And yeah, I just help assist him with those things and help him get out in the community. And we do fun activities, like we've just been in the crafts room doing some painting. I cook for him once a week to manage his diabetes as well, and just do some admin things here and there just to assist him when he's struggling to do just day-to-day things.
Okay.
Outside of work, I just go to the beach, hang out with my friends. I have another job that I work sometimes at a gin distillery as well.
Nice. So, Phil, what kind of diabetes do you have?
Type 2. So controlled by medication.
I see what you mean. So, what beach do you guys go to sometimes? Is that the Port Phillip Bay or whatever?
Well, we go to Ocean Grove, which is like, it's like 30 minutes from here, but there's the bay, and then it's at the end, and then if you take a ferry, it takes you to the other end, which is like the Melbourne side. So it's like the main beach in Geelong that everyone goes to, and people sometimes travel from Melbourne and stuff to go to the beaches here as well.
I see what you mean. What was your upbringing like, Phil?
So I grew up with 3 sisters and a younger brother. I didn't grow up in Geelong. I grew up in Wollongong, which is south of Sydney, which is in New South Wales. And that's a coastal town, so I'm used to the beach. And my mum was a musician, and so she got me into music quite early. I always had a connection with music, but I couldn't get my mind and body really to connect with it to play it until I was a teenager. So it sort of came later, and I was a bit delayed in learning it. But then once I sort of picked it up, I developed my own way of doing it, and then I really took that and embraced it. Some of my siblings said it really changed me as a person. I really calmed down and became a calm person through that. Prior to that, as a child, I hung around my sisters a lot and really embraced them. And I was very quiet. But I think just having them around, it just gave me that stability and a voice through them to sort of feel safe in a way, I suppose.
I see what you mean. When were you
Yeah.
diagnosed with autism?
I was misdiagnosed as schizophrenic. So this is back in the mid 1990s. Yeah, mid 1990s. It wasn't until a few years ago when I moved to Victoria and a new health system, they re-looked at me and said, no, well, you're obviously not schizophrenic. So that's when I went through the process to get diagnosed. So I think once you're in the system, you sort of just go along with it until someone looks at it in a new way, I suppose. And the new understanding of autism and the new approaches. Yeah. So I got diagnosed a couple of years ago. Yeah.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
What are you doing to not be defined by it and to overcome your struggles?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What are you doing to overcome your struggles?
So trying to focus on the positives that I have. So I went through testing just to see how my mind works and where my strengths and weaknesses are. And so there's certain strengths in my IQ. Where my weakness is the processing speed. I'm very low below average in that sense. So I've got to work around that and try to understand that I do process very slow, and especially if I get overwhelmed, I'm going to need a lot more time than usual to process information and get through life that way. And when that happens, when I'm deregulated, it does affect my body as well as my mind. So I do lose feeling, I get dyspraxia sort of symptoms, and that's where someone like Meg will come in and help me to become more regulated. So trying to focus on my strengths and manage doing things in life that I have to do, but also doing the things that calm me and are fun. Yeah. So,
good to hear. So, Meg, what's your upbringing been like?
Yeah, pretty good. I'm from a country town, and then I moved to Geelong after school. I am undiagnosed autistic, which I've only come to realize this year. So looking back, it was kind of difficult. I struggled in school a lot, and I've always been very bad. I was really bad at socializing from a young age, and then I had a bit of a hard time at school, which kind of got me out of that, and I was able to then speak to people. And I had diagnosed OCD pretty bad as well, so that was hard through school and stuff. I was so distracted with everything going on in my head and very overstimulated, so I never really enjoyed school. And then I did university for a year and then didn't like that. So I'm always like jumping from thing to thing. Like I can never figure out what I want to do with myself. So I'm still figuring that out, but I've been doing disability work for nearly 2 years now, and I'm really enjoying that. And I've also been traveling and stuff, just trying to figure out what I want to do, because I can never just stay in like one spot. I always have to change something. But yeah, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, school was a struggle for me as well. Like I had a few years where I did good, where I was on top of things. I was diagnosed with autism at 4, and I had some years that were good, but it paled in comparison to just some really bad years socially and physically and emotionally. And I did not enjoy my final 2 years of school, my junior and senior year, because it was just there was so much homework, and there was so much homework to the point where nobody could keep up with it. There was bullying going all around campus, and it was just, and I got accused of bullying by people myself. And, it's just, it was not a year that I enjoyed. And I just, by the time high school ended, I was ready to be done with it. Was it the same with you pretty much?
Yeah, for sure. I was so keen to get out of there. And then I moved away from that small town straight away because I just wasn't for me. And I realized that I was hanging out with people who were just nothing like me, and I kind of came into my own when I moved away and figured myself out a bit more.
So Geelong then has been a really good place for you to live, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a lot bigger. Yeah.
Mm.
Have you ever considered living in Melbourne for bigger opportunities, or is Melbourne not really your favorite?
Gee, that's all we have for Relentless and Unstoppable. So tune into the next episode to hear more amazing stories from amazing guests. This is Keith Scott from Sydney, Australia, saying so long, and I'm smarter than the average bear. Gee.